Hello and welcome to the Film Vomit Podcast. My name is Mac Taylor, and I know you guys are not used to seeing DJ not sitting beside me. We're going through some changes. I know we haven't even done a Film Vomit podcast since February. It's been a long time, so it's kind of crazy to be back here. But we're gonna have a new co-host, and you recognize him from Strategic Gaming. It's Chris Wilkerson. How's it going tonight, Chris?
Oh, it's pretty good. Had the day off work today. Just kind of did some stuff, and as you know, kind of just showed up, and I'm ready to do this thing.
Now I'm ready to do this too. We're not talking about Survivor. We're actually going to talk about just movies. Coincidentally, we're going to be talking about our top 10 movies of last year, of 2018, with two honorable mentions because there were a lot of good movies. And small disclaimer, I did not see a shit ton of movies last year because, I'm watching all the Power Rangers right now. I'm watching all the Godzilla movies right now. There are I have no time to watch anything else. So, if you're like, Mac, this movie wasn't on your list, I didn't see it. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to be selective sometimes. I saw 22 movies last year. So, I mean, that was pretty good, honestly. Uh, I don't get press screenings and shit. The people aren't paying me to do this. So I'm doing my best for the audience here. Chris, how many movies did you see last year?
Ooh, yeah. Last year I really didn't get to the theater much. I'm pretty sure I wasn't even working last year because it was my senior year. So
This year I'm off to a strong start. I've seen three movies this year, so and nothing's really come out to video yet. So as they come out to video and stuff, I'll be seeing more stuff. I still want to see the Lego Movie 2, but I haven't had a chance to yet. But that's out. There'll be things I watch. Definitely. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start us off, and I think my first honorable mention is going to be a shocker because I think some people would expect this to be high in my top 10, and it's didn't even make my top 10. It just barely did not make my top 10, and that is Black Panther. Black
ooh,
Panther just shy of the top 10 for me. Now, full disclaimer, I loved this movie. I thought it was beautiful. Michael B. Jordan is Killmonger, right? Is his character's name?
yes.
Uh, Absolutely loved that character. He nailed it in that movie. And sometimes Marvel doesn't always nail the villains. He nailed it. Chadwick Boseman is awesome as Black Panther, as we saw in Civil War and stuff. And really, the whole movie is beautiful. There's some beautiful imagery in this thing. The reason it didn't, I'll get into it more with the other movies, but I wasn't super excited for Black Panther, if that makes sense. And I was totally satisfied with it. I had a lot of fun with it, and it's a great movie. It just, I think some of these other ones on my list, I had a lot of hype going into, and I was not let down by that hype, and that nostalgia and things like that kind of comes into play. You don't always want it to, but it does totally come into play. I didn't grow up a Black Panther fan because it was something that I was kind of introduced to in the past few years, as compared to other superheroes where it's been my whole fucking life. So that's my first honorable mention. Chris, what is your first honorable mention?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with Mac here on the whole Marvel trend. I'm a real nerd about it too, but another Marvel movie I thought could have been a lot better, and I was actually really excited for was Ant-Man and the Wasp. And it was kind of a let. I mean, it was really funny, but I think they tried to make it too funny, and it almost got into my top 10 because it's Marvel and it was so funny, but it was just too many jokes. They tried to make Ant-Man too comically funny.
Yeah, it did not make my list at all. Ant-Man and the Wasp, because they usually do these Marvel movies in 3 a year. And Ant-Man and the Wasp was my least excited. I was really excited for Black Panther, but I was really excited for Infinity War. So I was like, yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp is cool, but it's a good movie, but there are so many other good movies. I love Paul Rudd. I think he's a perfect fit for Ant-Man. He's hilarious. And adding the Wasp character is you know, it helped a lot to hit for his character and stuff. But it's just Ant-Man's not my favorite, and that it really does play into it a little bit here. I'm going to go into my second and last honorable mention. This one is actually like below Black Panther for me, but it's a movie I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of anticipation, but skepticism going into this movie, and I was not let down whatsoever by this movie. So I had to talk about it. It was between this and another movie, and I debated up until we logged into this podcast, and I was like, I'm going to go with this one. So I'm going to have to give my last honorable mention to The Meg, the shark blockbuster of the summer here. So much fun this movie was. I am, as you can see, this poster right behind me. Jaws is my favorite movie of all time. I'm a big Jaws fan. So, and I love shark movies, but 90% of shark horror films are very, very bad. But The Meg actually, like, it looks like the CGI looks good. The acting, like we get Jason Statham, we get Rainn Wilson. The main girl, it's like something Bing Bing, like May Bing Bing or Lee Bing Bing, something like that. She was good. Like there was a lot of really good acting, and it's a big shark movie, and I got everything I wanted out of it. So, you know, a little bit of bias going into it because I was, I'm so into shark films, good and bad, but I saw it twice in theaters, and I don't always see, like, it's not a common thing for me to see movies twice in theaters, but I was like, so much fun. Chris, does it make your list, or if not, thoughts?
Yeah, I actually haven't seen The Meg, surprisingly enough.
Oh,
I am a big fan of Jason Statham. I really like his mechanic movies. I really like him in The Expendables, which isn't too great of a movie franchise, but he plays very well. He's a super action. I mean, he really is an action guy.
Star.
Yeah, I mean, he's a star, and you said it perfectly. I mean, action star. He's really good at martial arts. I mean, he's studied for a really long time, and you can see it with. I mean, movies are shot cinematically, but even in fight scenes, there there's just a click that you can't fake on screen, and Jason Statham, I mean, he gets that.
Yeah, definitely. That's one I recommend. Just check out. It's a nice, fun movie. All right. So, what's your second and last honorable mention before we hit the top 10?
Um, yeah, I'm actually gonna go with a movie Mac mentioned a little bit earlier in Black Panther. It's also an honorable mention for me. Um,
Make 10.
it does not make my top 10, and it very close. It's a nail biter, and I wanted to see a little bit more, and it was very beautifully shot. There were a lot of great scenes, but I felt like it just could have been done a little bit better, and I think they took. I mean, Marvel's been doing very great things with their movies lately, but I just felt like Black Panther was hyped a little more than what it turned out to be.
All right. And with that, we're going to start the 10. You heavy excitement here. I'm going to start my 10 is a film I had zero expectations for. My girlfriend at the time really wanted to see this movie, and I was like, it's going to be another one of those shitty comedies. Like, it's going to have no substance. Like another movie we saw that year called Blockers. I thought it was going to be like that. It was just all the funny parts are in the trailer. It was going to have no real plot value. It's just going to be like shock comedy. And it wasn't. It ended up being a very like heartfelt story. And I'm talking about Tag, about the group of friends who have played like tag like 1 month out of the year, like for their like whole childhood to adulthood. And all this. That's how they stay in contact with each other. First of all, great cast: Ed Helms, Hannibal Buress, um, shit, Jeremy Renner. John Hamm, um, just great, awesome cast, and they have such chemistry together. It is very funny, like very funny, but it gets super heartwarming toward the end, and I don't want to spoil it, so I won't give any spoilers, but just it totally caught me off guard. I did not watch this in theaters. I watched this on Blu-ray when it came out. Uh, Watched it twice. That's how much I was like, I gotta watch that again. Like, it was so good. I watched it again. That definitely a really good time. So, Tag, my number 10. Really, really positive surprise there. So, Chris, number 10. Where are you going?
Yeah, number 10. A few people might not agree with. A lot of childhood fans might read me for this one, but number 10 is gonna go to Incredibles 2.
Ooh, all right. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I watched Incredibles. I fell in love with it. Dash, all-time favorite character from The Incredibles, the young brother, super speed. Super speed's always been my absolute favorite superpower. I do love Marvel more, but Flash is my favorite superhero. And the Flash and Dash, there was a real connection. I felt like it really introduced me to superheroes. It kind of, because it was animated and it was really like the first superhero movie I've seen. And when I heard they were bringing it back to do number 2, I got super excited and my expectations for the movie grew higher. And I think it's the whole reason I have Incredibles 2 all the way down at number 10, because my expectations for this movie were so high, and I wanted the whole emotional connection all over again, and I just felt like we didn't get it. We just got another superhero story.
See, I'm gonna hit it with you with the shocker. I did not see this one yet. Uh, and I grew up what like with this movie, super excited about it. But for me, we were in production on the grounds, and I was so busy. I was so busy getting shit together for that movie that I totally missed this in theaters. And like, it's on Netflix, I believe, right now. And I just
Yes, it
have
is.
not had the time. I have not had the time to sit down and watch it. And like, it's on my list. Like, I want to. And I've heard mixed things. People say, "Oh, it's not as good as the original." But like, I hold the original such a nostalgic thing for
Yeah.
me. So I didn't expect it to be, but I'm definitely gonna have a lot of fun with it. But yeah, definitely have to sit down one of these days, watch it, and maybe it would change my 10. Doubt it, but maybe it would. All right, so with that, I'm going to go to my number 9. This is a movie I was super excited about. It's a sequel to, well, a sequel. It's in a franchise, but the original is one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm talking about Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Going to be my number 9 spot. Now, some fans have shit all over this movie, and it's not that bad. I don't know if anyone remembers Jurassic Park 3, but that existed. So this is better than Jurassic Park 3. And like, I like the whole idea that like the islands, the volcanoes are erupting, like there's a time thing, and like they think they're saving the dinosaurs, but then the people want to sell the dinosaurs. And I've always wanted to see like what happens when like Jurassic Park goes mainland and becomes like that's such a cool concept, and I was so excited to see it. And we saw some like other dinosaurs, like we saw the Allosaurus and that thing with the long. I'm blanking. I always blank right when I'm talking about something on this podcast. We saw some different dinosaurs. We saw Rexy, and great return there for Rexy. Obviously, you can't have a Jurassic Park film without Rexy. And just the scene with Rexy roaring and the volcanoes going off and shit, and like Chris Pratt when he's all like when he got tranquilized and he's having to roll away from the lava. People people literally were like, well, that wouldn't really happen. I said, there are fucking dinosaurs in this movie. And you were going to tell me about the logistics of how it would work? Fuck off, man. It's Jurassic Park. Like, some people's expectations are way too fucking high. Like, I loved Jurassic World, and some people didn't, and I don't understand it. But I love. I mean, it's not that hard to please me, really. Dinosaurs, people getting eaten by dinosaurs, crazy special effects. I'm in. Chris Pratt. Like, these are all things that will get me excited in the theater. So I did really enjoy Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, especially Blue, like one of my favorite dinosaurs too. So yeah, definitely. We gotta give much love Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Chris, where are you taking us with your number 9?
Oh, yeah, I don't know if anyone noticed my face of surprise, but I'm shocked because me and Mac actually have a movie at the exact same spot. And
No shit.
no shit, I came into this podcast not thinking you wouldn't even mention it. And you did, and I'm kind of glad you did because now we have a movie in the same spot. As I too thought it people's expectations for this movie were risen and mine weren't. I'm not a super fan of Jurassic Park movies. I mean, I've seen them all, but I don't watch them constantly. So I think I've only seen all the Jurassic Park movies one time.
Oh wow.
But I saw Fallen Kingdom and I really did like it. I thought it was funny. It was just the right balance. There weren't too many jokes. There was just enough action to keep everybody interested and so many jumps and I liked it. I really did.
I didn't mention the Indoraptor, which is like part of the thing where they take the the DNA from the Indominus Rex and they make the Indoraptor, but they make it like a Dark House movie. That's totally something I forgot to mention too. That I liked that they did, and some people were pissed off that they did. Is when they leave the island, the Velociraptor's running around a mansion. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. Like that looks really cool. So I don't know. Like I said, people are just like, well, they're doing the same thing because it's an Indominus, like it's an Indoraptor. They're basically the same thing. I said it's the same thing in all the movies. There's always dinosaurs.
I mean, it's just dinosaurs, people. You can't really spice that up too much.
Right. And there's going to be a third installment. Not, I think about 2 more years. I think it'll be 2021 when that comes out. But it's going to be like the conclusion of like, now that dinosaurs are in the world, how do we coexist? How do we beat them? What's going to happen? Like the Mosasaurus being in the ocean is like, holy shit! Like, how are they going to get that thing? Like the ocean's huge. Fun, lots of fun. But that's cool though. We had the same spot there. Same thoughts there in Jurassic World.
Yeah.
My number 8, I can almost guarantee that most people probably didn't see it unless they're like horror fans, which like, I'm totally cool with that. I saw it for my 31 Days of Halloween reviews I was doing. It's a sequel to a film from 2007, I think. They waited a long time for this sequel. It's The Strangers Prey at Night. Originally, I saw the trailers for this, and I was like, that looks ridiculous, because it seems like they're kind of hamming up the 80s aspects. Kind of like, I don't know. It seemed like they were trying to like capitalize like Stranger Things popularity. And I was like, whatever, fuck it. I don't need to see this. I like the original Strangers. But I watched this one, and this one is much more like a slasher. And like, I am a huge fan of the slasher genre of horror. So, like the man with the bag over his head, you see him actually like being like a horror villain. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like they off people in the beginning, and like the way they're tormenting this family. And there's a lot of like the pool scene alone. If you don't even watch this whole movie, go on YouTube or something and type in like Strangers Prey at Night pool scene. That is A, beautifully shot, like beautifully directed sequence. B, it is fucking badass. like them fighting, like Chris, to sum it up, they're having like this big epic like showdown while Total Eclipse of the Heart is playing in the background. It is fucking awesome. Like, check out that scene. Um, Again, like this is a movie I had low expectations, and maybe that's a trend here. I had low expectations, and they just said like they raised the goddamn bar, and now I'm like, that's perfect. That's a great ending for it. So, Strangers Pray at Night. It sits on my number 8 spot. Chris, where are we going for your number 8?
I'm gonna bring it back to another movie that you mentioned. You might not even know that I've seen, but same person requested this movie be watched, and it was Tag. Um, I didn't really have too many friends when I watched this movie, and seeing it, I just, I emotionally connected, and I really had a good time watching this movie. It made me feel lifted and like I could go out. And the next day, I made some friends that you guys won't even believe, but I'm sitting right here talking to one of them. So, I mean, just it was a beautiful moment for me, and that is the reason I love this movie.
Yeah, no doubt. Like again, something I had no expectations for, and actually they made a solid film. And that again, I can't even hardly talk right now. It's so good, so good. If you haven't seen Tag when you're listening to this podcast, that's like probably one I would recommend for a general audience. Like some of these have specific audiences probably that they're
Yeah.
marketed to, but I think Tag like anybody can watch. Like my mom watched it with me, and she loved it too. So, all right, we're gonna take it to my number 7, and this like 60% of it being as high as it is all nostalgia purposes. I'm talking about Creed 2. Creed 2, which is kind of like a sequel to Rocky 4, where Apollo Creed's son is fighting Ivan Drago's son. And anyone who knows me, I fucking love Rocky 4. That is my favorite Rocky movie, man. Like, so I get to see Dolph Lundgren back. I get to see the Drago family again. Like, and then like they beat the shit out of each other in that fight, and him like he has to do that thing where like he's the man, and then he loses the Drago, and then he has to go and he trains in like the desert, and that's a fucking awesome sequence. Like these movies make you feel really good about like really inspired to watch them, but also they have such great soundtracks. Like I've not seen a Rocky or a Creed movie that had a bad soundtrack. They always just have kick-ass music. And like I watched this when DJ got it on Vudu, and I was like, yes, gotta watch this. Finally gonna see this. And the whole time I was just like, yes, fucking Rocky 4 sequel. Like I was geeking out the whole time because it's like I think the first Rocky movie I saw was Rocky 4, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of nostalgia berries went into that, but the childhood me was fulfilled for sure. Chris, where are we going for your number 7?
Um, yeah, my number 7 is a really hard choice because I have to choose between two movies that I think are great in their own ways, but just one has a little more merit, and I think it might even surprise people the lower one I go with because it was to other people I think a horrible movie, and that is Justice League. I mean,
Yeah, definitely did not make my top 10.
yeah, um, this is all nerd nostalgia for me. I can't avoid it. I mean, I'm a nerd at heart. This is superheroes are my thing. People, don't give me too much shit for only picking. I mean, I know I pick a lot of superhero movies, but guys, that's my groove. It's what I get along with. And I know Justice League was not great for most people, but to me, it signified just the fact that finally certain members of cartoons and comic books I grew up reading are on the screen. and I said it before. The Flash is my favorite superhero, and I don't know how many people saw The Perks of Being a Wallflower, but one of my favorite actors of all time is in that movie. Well, actually, two of them, no three, but we'll not talk about them. And let's talk about some Ezra Miller here. And Ezra Miller, I mean, might not have been the best pick for a Flash, but I thought it was great because I like the actor, I like the character. Maybe not. They could have done a lot better on the movie, but to me, it signified something else than just a movie.
Yeah, it was one of those movies where I think early in my childhood I was a much bigger DC fan than Marvel fan, but I got let down a lot with these movies of late for DC. Although their past couple have been pretty damn good. Like I saw Shazam this year, and I really like Shazam. So there's potential for DC to make a comeback, but DC took the fast track, I think, because Marvel that took 11 years to get this whole thing done, and it seemed like DC was like, "Shit, we're behind. Throw in the Justice League." Like they did not build it. We got like Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Wonder Woman, Justice League. Like that is fast.
Yeah,
That'd have been like getting Iron Man, no Captain America, uh, Captain America Civil War, uh, Black Panther, then Infinity War. Like that'd have been like throwing all that shit together.
yeah.
Could you imagine?
It was a very rushed movie, and I feel like if they would have taken their time and really developed their franchise, they could have done a lot better. And
Everybody's trying to have their own
yeah,
universe.
it showed in the movie,
Like,
and the whole reason this movie is on my list at all is nerd fantasy, and people, you have to get that. I mean, not great movie, but great nerdism. I gotta
well,
worship, you
I
know.
love the Universal Monster movie. And then they tried to build their own dark universe, and literally it failed with the Mummy. Like their first film failed so hard that the whole entire universe was killed.
Bye.
But also, I won't talk about that because that's not even anywhere near my list. It was so boring. I could have a movie about a mummy and it'd be boring. Say what you want about the Brendan Fraser movies, but they were entertaining. Like, how the hell are you gonna make it boring? Sorry, Dark Universe. You could have been something special. Yeah. On with that, we're gonna take it to my number 6, which is a movie I was super stoked about. Didn't get seen in theaters though. I had to wait till Blu-ray to see it because again, I think this was another time I was working on like the grounds and shit, and I had no free time. Deadpool 2. I was I saw Deadpool in theaters when it came out, and I was super impressed because I've been a Deadpool fan since like the video game. And I was like, oh man, they're gonna do a sequel. And it's got the X Force in it, and they killed the X Force so fucking fast. Nice shout out to the video game. They killed the X Force so fast. But I was like so okay with it.
No.
Like Ryan Reynolds is like manufactured. Like he completely embodies Deadpool. So like some people were like, well, it had too many jokes. And I'm like, that is not possible for me. Like, I laugh.
Absolutely not. Yes. Completely agree.
And because he's immortal and he can do all this crazy shit, like blow himself up and things like that. It's fun. I have a lot of fun with this movie. We got to see a little more from Colossus. We didn't really see much from Negasonic Teenage Warhead. She pretty much was like a background character in this one. But we get Domino, who is fucking awesome. We get Cable, like Josh Brolin gets to just be every cool character. And Cable's fucking badass because again, it's Josh Brolin. He's fucking badass. Um, it's just how it is. um, and then I don't know, like it's funny, but it's also it blends comedy and super badassness at the same time. And like I'm like that. What more could you ask for from a Deadpool movie? Uh, so yeah, some people again, I think they maybe had too high of expectations, but I think this one fell just where it needed to for me. So yeah, number 6, uh, Deadpool 2. Chris, where are you going with your number 6 pick?
Yeah, I'm gonna shake it up a little bit, get away from kind of the nerdism that is me, and really slip in a really great music movie that I guarantee a lot of people have seen. A very popular band through many generations, and go with Bohemian Rhapsody. A really great movie. Um, had a lot of Queen in it, and classic rock. You can't go wrong. Queen is just a world renowned band, and I feel like this movie just gave us a glimpse behind them, and it was really what I wanted.
Yeah, this is one that I contemplated being an honorable mention. It did not make my list, but I saw it in theaters. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I'm a big Queen fan. I think I started listening to Queen when I was like 12, 11, 13, somewhere in that general vicinity. And Bohemian Rhapsody is like that thing in high school that like we would all sing all the time.
Always.
It would always become a spectacle. Like somebody would just start it normally, and by the end, like I'd be going across the stage in a wheelie chair, and like people would be throwing things, and it'd be like it's like a musical in of itself. Like you can't hear the beginning to Bohemian Rhapsody without doing the whole song. It's a thing among society. Freddie Mercury is was such a unique person. So seeing like his life, a story based on his life play out was really awesome for me. And really finding out more about the band because I didn't know much about Queen and things like that. So, um, yeah, obviously love the music. It was funny at points, but it was also just like really awesome to see their story on the big screen. I like this year. I'm really excited for Rocket Man because I love Elton John. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of other very hyped movies, not for this video. This will be a 2019, but The Dirt, um, newer movie. In case you people haven't seen it yet, watch it because it'll be in our 2019 video. I promise you.
yeah, and I can already tell like obviously a couple of films I've already watched. Like I know Endgame will end up being
Oh yeah,
my. It's just it was which we'll have a whole podcast.
yeah. We're not done with Marvel yet, people. Just wait. I promise.
Talking about Endgame because I saw Endgame twice now, and I was like, yeah, I have to talk about this for like an hour.
So long.
So good, so good. Going on to my number 5. This is one of my nerd subgenres, which is horror, and the last horror film on this list. Movie I was super hyped about because it marked like a milestone for me. Like I remember the first Star Wars movie I saw in theaters. I remember the first Marvel movie I saw in theaters. I remember the first like DC movie I saw in theaters. Like these were all like landmarks for me as a nerd. And for me, this was the first Halloween film I was going to see in theaters because when the Rob Zombie remakes were coming out, I was young. I was not able to get in R-rated movies. So it was an experience for me to be, and I saw this 3 times in theaters. Only 2 of those times were on purpose. One, I just ended up going on a date, and she's like, "I want to see Halloween," and I was like, "I've seen it twice, but I'll see it again." And I'll actually be doing a podcast. Chris may be on it. We'll be doing a podcast about this movie tomorrow. So I can never stop talking about it. Me and DJ covered the rest of the series on Film Vomit. That's Halloween, the 2018 movie. Obviously, I got a Halloween 4 poster behind me. I'm a Michael Myers fan for sure. Not my favorite slasher. That's Jason, but we haven't got a Friday the 13th movie since 2009. But again, this was the first Halloween movie I saw in theaters. So like seeing the opening scene and then the dun 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 dun, dun and I was like, oh my god, I'm here! Like I'm fucking watching it on the big screen. Like it's happening. And the whole opening credit sequence where the pumpkins like decayed and then slowly like coming back to life or whatever into a normal like carved pumpkin is such a message about what they were doing to this dead franchise, a franchise that had all but abandoned by the mainstream audience, and boom, here we are with a new installment, and holy shit, was it awesome! It ignores all the sequels, so basically just the original Halloween happened and this Halloween. And we get Jamie Lee Curtis back, and it's Jamie Lee Curtis. She's a fucking goddess. You have to love her. We get Joel Jude Courtney or something like that, playing Michael Myers, and some shots were Nick Castle, who is the original Michael Myers, playing Michael Myers as well. But Joel James Courtney or whatever his name, he's got 3 names. He was very intimidating. Like he is a good Michael Myers. And just like they really got like his brutality back in this one. Like the whole scene in the bathroom was with the podcasters was fucking awesome. And which is cool. We see podcasters in a horror film now. Like that's how modern we are. And they pay homage to the scene from Halloween 2 where it's like one long shot of him like walking through and going in and out of houses, and there's like some Halloween 2 throwbacks in there, which I was one of the only people in the theater group that I was watching that got those references, so I was the only one going like, oh my god, that's in Halloween 2 when he fucking goes to the ladies with the ham sandwich, and everyone's like, what? Ham sandwich? And I was like, yeah, what else? Explain later. Like, because with DJ, I just watched all these movies. Everything was very fresh in my mind. And just, seeing, oh God, it was so beautiful. Like it was gory. It was crazy. It was just everything I really wanted to see out of a Halloween movie. It did make me jump at a couple of points. Just a whole lot of fun. So yeah, if for some reason you're a horror fan and you haven't seen the new Halloween, like you should. A lot of critics are bashing it, and there's like probably like one scene I really didn't care for, but the rest of it was pretty goddamn good. And people are like, well, it's the worst Halloween movie ever made. I was like, did you motherfuckers watch Halloween 6? Like that's the worst Halloween movie they ever made by a large margin. So I don't understand. Maybe people just, I've come to the conclusion, I don't think people watch bad movies. I think they just watch good movies. So when a movie that's not as good as some of those good movies comes out, like, this is the worst thing ever. And I'm like, bitches, you haven't seen bad movies. I've seen some bad movies. So this is great. So yeah, Halloween 2018. Sorry about the long rant there. That's my number 5. I had tons of fun with it. Chris, where are you going for your number 5?
We're gonna flash back to another one of Max picks in Creed 2. Me and Max share this alike. We're both really big Rocky fans. I grew up on the movies. They really kind of swayed me into sports more because Rocky just, it had a story behind it where even when you fail, you can get back on your feet and just keep going. I have a Rocky quote on my wall right over there. I mean, it's right there, and it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That is how winning is done. And it's my motto for everything, for life, for sports, anything. It doesn't matter how hard you get hit. It matters if you can get back up, because you got to be able to hit back. And I feel like all Rocky stories just they have that underlying tone in all all of them, and it's really beautiful. And people really need that message as much as they don't know that they need it. You've really got to push in life, and you got to fight for everything, and you got to be willing to take the hits. And I mean, Rocky is all about that. It's really beautiful. And Creed 2 is another summation of the same ideals. And it really is just like Rocky's, and it's so good. I really love the flashback to Rocky 4, which is coincidentally also my favorite Rocky movie.
It's so good.
I I wouldn't even believe anybody if they said Rocky 4 was not the best Rocky.
It's a pretty common consensus, honestly, among some Rocky
Yeah.
fans. Some people may not agree, but I mean,
It might just be us Americans. We just hate them Russians. Not
well,
personally.
back then, Russians were always the villains in these kind of movies, like Red Dawn. The original was Russians.
I really like Dolph Lundgren. I mean, he's a really underrated, really. I mean, in case people don't know, really big fact about Dolph Lundgren, he's extremely smart. Graduated from Harvard.
And like really tough.
Yes.
Because they were like messing around in the ring during like Rocky 4, and like Sylvester Stallone was like, "Oh, you want to come in here and like actually box me?" He's like, "Yeah," and like Sylvester Stallone's like, "I never asked him to do that again because he hit really hard." Like the guy's an actual machine.
Yes.
And like the Rocky movies have such a good like past, like Sylvester Stallone when he was making the first Rocky, he was homeless trying to sell the idea because studios wanted the movie, but they're like, "Who's gonna play Rocky?" And he's like, "I'm gonna play Rocky." And they're like, "You don't look like a hero." And so he wouldn't sell the movie unless he could be Rocky. So he was like living in his car trying to sell the script. And like now, obviously he's had such a storied career as being the hero.
Yeah.
That it's really great that panned out. But my favorite Stallone movies are the Rambo movies, which we get a Rambo 5 this year. I'll be ranking that franchise this year as I see the new one in theaters. But like I was always partial to the Rambo movies as a kid because like they had a lot of action in them. Like my mom, I was 10 years old, and my mom's like, "You need to watch the Rambo movies." I was like, "Rambo movies," and I watched them, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is awesome! He's fucking hiding in the mud and murdering people. I love it." Like developed a bloodlust early in my childhood. So yeah, that's Chris's number 5. I'm gonna take it to my number 4, which I was surprised got this low, but one movie came in that completely. 2 movies came in and blew me away, but one really blew me away, so I ended up number 3. My number 4 is Solo, a Star Wars story. Obviously, big Star Wars fan. It's probably my main nerdism. So anytime a new Star Wars movie comes out, I'm like there opening night. Like I have to see it immediately. Like I think ever since Force Awakens, I've been at every Star Wars movie opening night. So yeah, I'm always gonna. This year it actually comes out on my birthday, so that's gonna be even better for me. But I love Han Solo, so getting an origin story, I was like, I'm down. I mean, I just got kind of mind fucked with Last Jedi, so I was like, I'm down. Let's do it. I cannot think of the actor's name who plays Han Solo. He's a German actor. He did fantastic. I think he did a great job embodying what a young Han Solo would look, sound like, and be like. So I was a little skeptical going in, but as soon as I saw like kind of his first few minutes, I'm like, yep, the guy's got it. Also, Donald Glover as Lando, fucking nailed it. That was perfect. And just seeing like, how he meets Chewbacca and how he gets the Millennium Falcon, and like, because we've always heard these things mentioned, but we never like, we get to see them actually happen. And And there's even like small references and things. I can't remember the robot's name. The robot that Lando has that ends up becoming part of the Millennium Falcon's like computer. There's a scene in Empire Strikes Back where R2D2's messing around with the computer controls, and he's telling 3PO something, and he's like, I don't care what's locked in the computer of the ship. And we find out through Solo, it's that robot that R2D2 found in there. Like he's saying, like, hey, there's a robot part of this ship. Like they went that deep with telling this story. Like that's pretty impressive. Like to where I was watching them because it was May the 4th, which uh is tomorrow. I just realized. So Star Wars Day is tomorrow. Fuck, I gotta watch all those movies now. Because I sat down and watched them all, and I was like, that was just in the Solo movie. So, like, they really dug deep for it, and I got to give mad respect for it. I really liked the movie. So, now, the only thing I was critical of is that Darth Maul shows up at the end, and I was like, whoa. They got to explain that shit. And I was like, oh, they're going to do a sequel at some point, which they haven't announced. So now we have Darth Maul at the end of this movie and no explanation whatsoever. And I'm like, God damn it, open-ended. Why couldn't they just ended it normally? Other than that, I have no qualms. So that's my number 4. Damn it, tomorrow is May the. How did this sneak up on me? I've been so fucking busy. Star Wars, like, I'm so pissed off right now that I looked at my computer. I'm like, and it's tomorrow. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow is trying to fit like 5 Godzilla movies and Star Wars movies into my normal work schedule. But anyway, my crazy schedule aside, Chris, what's your number 4?
Yeah, we're actually gonna round out my 4 and 3 because they come right off Mac's list. I'm gonna bring one of his lower selections up to 4, and we're gonna go ahead and give this 4 is gonna be Deadpool 2. I mean, all the same reasons. Really funny. I think Ryan Reynolds is the perfect Deadpool. I mean, there is nobody else. I can't even imagine anyone playing Deadpool besides Ryan Reynolds. He personally fits the character, and even if you just watch videos of Ryan Reynolds acting like Ryan Reynolds, he acts like Deadpool. But the story behind it was great. Real, it stayed fairly true to the comics. To any heavy comic book readers out there, it was really good. I did really I liked and not liked the part where X Force dies so quickly. I mean, it was really funny because you're like, they won't do that. There's no way they'll kill the X Force that quickly. And then, oh, yep, all of them. Everyone's dead.
Which they'll rebuild it. I mean, I'm sure like Cable is never going to be part of his X Force.
Yeah. And we're going to give my 3 to Solo. And Han Solo, favorite character from the Star Wars franchise. Chewbacca, number 2.
I'm biased because I am playing Mark Hamill in a movie for next year, so I kinda gotta be a Luke guy.
Yeah, I don't have those same qualms. I can absolutely say with 100% certainty, always been Solo. My first car I ever drove, I named Millie after the Millennium Falcon.
My second car,
Solo. But
because it was a clunker, and it's just like the Falcon, where it was like a clunker, I was gonna take it where I needed to go.
Same here. Clunker, take it where you need to go. But I mean, Solo, it was so intricate, and they put so much backstory and detail, and like you said, Darth Maul showing up at the end, R2 finding the droid, everything. It was spot on, and I think the robot's name was Karen. I can't remember. It's been a minute since I've seen Solo, but I'll
It'd be
have to
funny
rewatch.
if it is named Karen because that's Spider-Man's suit,
Yeah, that's why
and it's
I'm
also what I call
skeptical.
my GPS. And
Yes, it's
most people think I say it as a Spider-Man reference, but I've been calling my GPS Karen since 2014. So, anyway, sorry. Continue, Chris. I'm in my head. I'm
um
going like if I start watching the Star Wars movies tonight, by tomorrow I could be ahead enough to.
but yeah, again, Solo was actually I think it was the first movie in theaters I've watched more than one time. A lot of
Oh,
other movies, yeah. Growing up, I really didn't have that much money. It's not really a thing of it was the only good enough movie to watch more than one time in theaters. It was just that time when I went to see it in theaters was the first time I had the money to go see a movie more than once. But it was a great movie to see more than once in the theaters because it really I think is a big screen movie. There's
oh yeah,
nothing
for sure.
says Solo like big screen. Han Solo is a big screen character, and the movie ended up being a big screen hit. It really was so much detail, so much backstory, and even the actors and actresses they used portrayed their characters I think so well. And I didn't understand a lot of the backlash this movie got and people being very over critical of it.
Yeah, like, but I people have selective memories because it's like, do y'all remember like the Phantom Menace and Attack of the
Yeah,
Clones? Like, do y'all remember those movies? Because I saw those movies, and because of that, just about any other Star Wars movie, I'm like, well, it wasn't that. So, like, even Last Jedi has a lot of problems, but I'm still like, wasn't Phantom Menace?
it was in Phantom Menace.
It didn't have Jar Jar. I'm okay with that.
Misa Bulavinjoani.
Have pod racing. Still okay with that. Didn't have the little
Absolutely.
fucking annoying. So all these things were not in the Last Jedi. So totally cool. So yeah, sorry. In my head this whole time, I've been like thinking about when to start watching Star Wars movies now because now I had to watch Halloween for tomorrow's podcast and Godzilla movies for this, and I had to do editing shit this weekend, and now fucking May 4th just sneaks up on me. Like usually every year I plan like a week in advance. Like last year, me and Emma did a drinking game for it. Like we had to take shots for certain things that happened throughout the thing. God damn it, Chris, this is what happens when you've adulted too long. You're so busy that one of the most this holiday is more important to me than Christmas, and it snuck up on me.
I'm with you 100%. May the 4th is a really big holiday to me as well, and I will be watching the whole trilogy, the prequel, all of them.
I don't watch
I
them
mean,
all, but I don't. I actually don't think I own Solo on Blu-ray yet, so I might have to go out to Walmart tomorrow and pick that up. So that because I can have all of them because I have the rest of them on Blu-ray. I know, but I don't think I have Solo.
I'm not
I have
sure
to
if I
check.
have Solo. I think I might actually own Solo. What am I doing here? I can't remember. I'll find it later. We're doing a podcast.
Yeah, yeah, you're like I'm gonna take 10 minutes to find this. Like, for those of you still joining us, I have it. Here it is.
Yeah, it's behind me somewhere. In case you do not know, DVD rack here.
I was like, I'd have to go over to my Blu-ray shelf. It's like way over there. Well, I'll find it later. God, I can't believe that snuck up on me. DJ's gonna be pissed too because I don't think he knows either. Anyway, my number 3. Sorry, wow, we stalled that one. My number 3 is a movie I did not see coming as far as like that I would like so much. In fact, it came out and people were like, it's just a bunch of references, and that's the whole plot of the movie. I'm like, that kind of sounds like my life, so might be okay. And I watched it, Holy fuck, is it a great movie? Ready Player One, my number 3. So many like film references. There's a Chucky reference and Jurassic Park reference and an Iron Giant reference and a King Kong reference and pretty much anything that Universal owns. They just Halo is referenced in this. Because it's this world where people can be whatever they want to be. So if you want to spawn yourself as Beetlejuice, you can spawn yourself as Beetlejuice. If you want to be fucking the green, like I would be the Green Power Ranger, you could be the Green Power Ranger. Like, it's whatever. Like it's this mass game that everybody has spent their lives inside of, which is awesome. And people are fighting for the right to own it. Like whoever wins this prize, like they have to go win all these legs, this quest to become the new owner of the game, and you learn all these lessons about life and like not wasting your life, and it's about who you spend it with, and not about success and things like. And it really hit me, a person who's constantly chasing a career, about like sometimes you gotta slow down and enjoy Star Wars Day and things like that, you know. So uh yeah, I really liked Ready Player One. I've only seen it once though. I would like to rewatch it, but again, as you all just heard, me having a mini panic attack, I have so many things I have to watch. Because also on top of all that, I have to watch the Pokemon movies for Detective Pikachu coming out. So holy shit, I wish I didn't work a full time job because this YouTube business would be much easier if I didn't. But yeah, Ready Player One, beautiful movie. Chris, you're number 2.
Yeah. We're gonna go with not I believe my second animated movie. And that's Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, I know I'm nerdy, guys. You gotta cut me a break. No way. Oh my god. Yes. Well,
first.
yeah, Miles Morales. I'm gonna put this whole movie on Miles here. A lot of people know the Peter Parker storyline and know the troubles that Peter Parker has had to go through. And he's had a really rough life, and people can see it. Miles, his life is rougher on the inside, and not a lot of people see that. It's the internal struggle and not really the part that people see and seem to care more about. And you really get left behind. And I think they don't really bring that to the front of this movie, but it's a hidden layer. And I feel like you really have to just watch this movie a few times to see, and maybe even go back and read comic books if you're interested in that sort of thing. I'm not trying to push anybody to, but there's a really great internal struggle in Miles. And the movie was great. It was really funny. So many jokes, so many references. I loved it.
Yeah, comics is something I want to do on my YouTube channel at some point, but right now I just don't have the time to do it. But I saw this movie once in the theater, but I think 6 times since the theater because my DJ's son loves Into the Spider-Verse. So he watches it all the time, and I'm always like poking my head out trying to catch bits and pieces of it. First of all, I love the concept of the multiple Spider-Man or women or animals. Because we get the normal or robots. We get the like the normal Peter Parker, but he's blonde, and and it starts off like, all right, I'm only gonna say this once, and like he goes through his origin story, and everybody does that, and the whole like, and we get schlubby Peter Parker who's kind of like out of shape. Like one of my favorite scenes in this is when he's like, I was at the gym working out, doing sit-ups, getting strong, and he's just eating pizza. And he's like, she broke up with me. I took it like a man. He's in the shower crying. Like, I'm like, dude, I relate to this Spider-Man so hardcore. And then we get Penny Parker, so we get the anime style spider robot thing. We get Spider Gwen, which is the kind of the first big screen appearance of Gwen Stacy as Spider Gwen. I mean, obviously we had the Amazing Spider-Man movies of Gwen Stacy. We didn't have Spider Gwen. Then we get Spider Ham, voiced by John Mulaney, who is so funny. The part when he's like, "Do animals talk in this dimension? I don't want to freak them out."
Freak him out.
Things like that, or when he's like,
Oh,
"I just washed my hands. That's why they're wet. No other reason." It's things like I love Spider-Man. And then we get Spider-Man Noir, voiced by Nicolas Cage, where he's like, is there a breeze in here? We're underground. Wherever I go, the wind follows, and the wind smells like rain. I fucking love it, dude.
spot on.
So funny. So good. And also, I haven't even gotten to the best part of this movie. Okay, one more thing before I talk about the best part. Stan Lee's cameo in this film is my favorite Stan Lee cameo because he's playing a salesman and he's selling Miles the Spider-Man suit. And Miles is like, "What if it doesn't fit?" He's like, "Don't worry, it'll fit eventually." And it's basically saying at first you're not going to be cut out for this superhero game, but you'll grow into it. No one's perfect at the start. You have to grow into what you were meant to be. God damn it, if that's not Stan Lee's God, I was so perfect. I cried at that moment. That's how excited I was. But the best part of this movie is Miles Morales. He's this kid and he has such a low self-esteem of himself because he's at this school where he's kind of at the smart kids school. He's at the prep school. And he doesn't think he'd rather be a big fish in a small pond than the big fish in the big pond. Because at his other school, he was the smartest. So it was easy. He kind of just went by. But now he's being challenged and he doesn't know if he's ready to take the challenges. So he's purposely trying to fail out of the school. And then when he gets the Spider-Man powers, he's like, "I can't do this. I'm not meant to do this." And, we kind of see Peter B. Parker kind of take him under his wing of sorts and kind of train him. But my favorite, the scene where Miles gets his suit and goes into action, and when he says it's all about a leap of faith, and he leaps, and they turn the camera. I mean, I know it's upside down, and he's falling, but it looks like he's rising, which is essentially what he's done by taking this jump. And then he goes up, and then boom, he starts doing a Spider-Man shit, and I'm just that was. But in the theater, I was out loud, just going yes, yes. I was pumped because Miles Morales is a character I've wanted to see on the screen for a while, and Miles Morales is kind of mentioned in the MCU because in Spider-Man: Homecoming, Donald Glover, ironically who voiced Miles Morales in the cartoon, plays the Prowler, who is obviously Miles Morales' uncle, and he says "I got a nephew here. I don't want there being a bunch of crime around here." So we know Miles Morales is potentially in the MCU. But we get this movie, and this is a damn good debut for a character for the big screen. Everything was spot on. There were emotions. There was laughter. There was badassery. There was, Doc Ock was a woman. That was awesome. Didn't see that shit coming. Just so much fun. Couldn't recommend this film more. Completely took me by surprise. I thought it was going to be mediocre, and it was borderline spectacular. So Chris, I think we can both kind of. I think I know what your number one is. I think you know.
I think we can pretty much assume this, and everybody's gonna know if you pay attention to me a little bit when we do these podcasts. There just so happens to be a movie that sits right above my head, and it might be intentional, it might not, but. I mean, one of the greatest movies I think I've ever seen. One of the greatest movies I think maybe has been made right now. And that's Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, why don't you lead the topic on this and I'll round it out.
Okay, we get a huge buildup, and this is exactly what Stan Lee did when he created these comics. He started with stories and he led them further and further down the line and just let people grow to become themselves, and then he brings them in together. And the culmination that is the Marvel storyline, it's so intricate, and there's so many moving pieces, and I don't know how, but the Russo brothers really captured this in one movie, and it wasn't 3 hours long like a movie we might discuss in the next coming days. But there's so much packed into this movie, emotion. I
Why?
mean, every if you can think of something, it is packed into this movie. There's so many messages. There's so many beautiful images. The the cinematography in this movie is just, I think, worlds above anything I could have ever dreamed for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And um, I won't get too nerdy over this, but it sticks really straight to the comics, changes things up in an order to make everything interesting to people who have read the comics, and not to a point where they feel their comics are just washed away, and there's still those pieces from the originals that are in the movies now. And um RIP to the legend Stan Lee, one of his very few last cameos. We're going to talk about, sadly, his last cameo in a movie in a few
Not
podcasts. But
necessarily. It's his last Marvel, I think, cameo, but he did a film for Jason Mewes, which is his last on film appearance. So that comes out next year.
I will switch it over to Mac and let him talk about this.
I kind of segued in with my little fun fact. Uh, um, Avengers: Infinity War. Holy shit! Big 10 at that point, 10 years of storytelling. I was a little late to the game. Like the first one I saw in theaters was Captain America, but like it took me a while to watch Iron Man and like that stuff. But like I got into it like probably around Winter Soldier was when like I was definitely like all in. Like Winter Soldier was a fucking amazing movie. Um, I remember building up to this movie. I'm like Thanos, like that's the big bad, like that's the like that's the Marvel's like huge villain. I was like, can't wait to see that and the Infinity Stones we've been building and blah blah blah. And I went into it and I'm a big Spider-Man fan. Spider-Man gets a lot of funny moments in this movie, like being like, I'm Peter Parker. What's your name? And he's like, I'm Doctor Strange. He's like, oh, sorry, I'm
Oh,
using
we're
fake names.
using names.
I'm Spider-Man. Like, I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. He does so good in that character. Uh, we get to see the Iron Spider suit kind of with the legs and things coming out, and that's really fucking sweet. We get to see Doctor Strange and Tony Stark together, and that's hadn't been seen before, and they have such great chemistry. And it's also dueling Sherlocks
Yeah.
in the same movie. They were just fantastic together. We get to see Thor with the Guardians of the Galaxy, which becomes like a thing in the future, and that was really funny. Like when Star Lord's trying to like act like him, he's like, are you mocking me?" He's like, "Are you like I love that shit. And then we get the whole thing where uh uh Cole shows up, he's like, "Where's Gamora?" And Stark's like, "I'll do you one better. Who's Gamora?" And then Drax like, "I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?" Like
One of, I think, the funniest improv lines in Marvel so far, in case anybody didn't know. Dave Batista and directors have come out to say that that is improv, and he was not supposed to say that.
Like that is so funny in that movie, and that's so Drax though. Like that character, that is such like a test to his character.
It absolutely is, 100%.
And yeah, there's just so many like you said, so many moving pieces. Then we get the battle of Wakanda with Captain America showing back up. You're like, someone get this man a shield, like things like that. It's fucking epic, man. Thanos is the ultimate bad guy so far in the Marvel universe. He's strong, he's smart, he's just pure evil, and yeah, but he has an intent that makes sense, like what he's saying. It's not the right way to go about things, but like it does kind of make sense in his own twisted way. And there's a lot of emotional moments. I cried twice during Infinity War.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna
The Gamora
piggyback on.
scene,
Yes,
and then Spider-Man.
absolutely. Infinity War was probably the movie I saw in 2018 that made me cry the most. And if anybody is really is emotionally connected to these movies, you have to cry too, or you're probably not human. Because it, the way they set the emotional wrenches in this movie, it turns you, and you can't help it.
Yeah, and we lose even though the people that ash away, I never really count them because we knew they were coming back. But we lose Loki, we lose Vision, and we lose original Gamora. And that's like it's a lot of death. Like the only death we'd really seen in the MCU before that was Quicksilver, and that was very fast. We didn't even know Quicksilver really at that point.
You didn't see that coming?
And yeah, just that there was so much emotion. Like a lot of people like they cried when Groot died, and like especially when the directors came forth and they said like when he said "I am Groot," he was saying "Dad," like question mark, talking to Rocket, and I was like, God damn it! Why? I was fine with just the "I am Groot" thing. Why are you telling me what it means? Like, it's rough, and seeing a lot of people's reactions to the people they care about dying is like, whoa. And we'll be talking about Endgame about some things with Endgame, and I will not say any spoilers for Endgame because that will be on that podcast, and we will announce beforehand there will be spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, don't listen to this podcast. But I won't say it on this one because I'm not gonna be a dick because we're talking about 2018 movies. But yeah, Infinity War was such an Endgame too. It's kind of piggybacking it with. It feels like, and if it's a comic version, it's like an annual. Like this is a reward for the fans for being dedicated to these stories as long as they were. Like we've waited 10, 11 years for these movies, and they're like, all right, you made it through the first saga. Here's a bunch of fucking awesome shit at one time, and we're just like, yeah, like we weren't ready. We weren't ready for what was about to happen with Infinity War. Like, me and DJ talked for like a month, and we came up with like 100 different things we thought could happen in Infinity War, and only one of those things happened, which was Loki dying. Nothing else happened the way we thought it was gonna happen. Because these people who make these movies are really smart and are really good storytellers. And not even me and DJ, who have watched and analyzed all their films, could even begin to imagine what we were about to watch. So, yeah, that definitely, I don't think anybody had a question going into this. Like, I knew making this list, like, Infinity War was going to be my number one, and I'll figure out where everybody else goes.
that was
in the Spider-Verse, it in any normal scenario probably would have been my number one, but Infinity War was too good. It was too good. And 2019 isn't as fair either because it's got Endgame. But 2020, there's a lot of potential for other films to get in my tops because I won't have such a big film that I'm waiting a year to watch. So yeah, that kind of concludes our top 10 films of 2018. Thank you guys for listening. You know, Chris will be with me Sunday for the Endgame podcast. Hopefully with me tomorrow for the Halloween 2018 podcast. We've got a lot to talk about. And then next week, Chris will be gone with work, but the week after, we'll continue back with Survivor Australia. So lots of podcasts, lots of things to talk about. Thanks for the Strategic Gaming. And my name is Mac Taylor.